tricks and general information that will help anyone trying to move it forward in this digital world of accounting. We are live at the first ever AI Summit in the UK, hosted by Digital Accounts Show, and I'm joined by the wonderful Dan Cockerton, who everyone should probably know now, given that he's been running the Digital Accounting Show for how many years?
5 years now, moving into our 6 years next year. So yeah,
crazy. And I know it's changed, gone from kind of early in the year to later in the year next year. So we've got a little bit longer to wait, but you filled the gap. You brought this kind of live show here, and tell us a little bit about why. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this AI Summit?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ryan. So yeah, really excited to be running this event today with Sage. There's so much going on from an AI perspective in the world right now. So much development, so much money going into AI. So many different companies doing so many different things. Microsoft have come out and said that they believe finance is going to be one of the biggest impacted areas with regards to AI. And for someone like me who's in the industry, I run events, I'm involved in this stuff, even it's difficult for me to stay on top of what's going on from a AI perspective and for the accounting profession. So it just felt like the right thing to do. The climate is right, people want to know more, and actually the speed in which people signed up to this event was the fastest that we've ever done. In terms of the number of people. Like, I got 200 people, over 200 people here today, and we sold out very, very quickly. So it just shows that it's super relevant right now. Yeah, super excited to put it on. We're going to be running through today some really interesting topics and how accountancy firms are using it in practice and where it's all going. So yeah, lots going on, and yeah, pumped and ready to go.
Yeah, and as you can probably tell, like you probably hear a lot of background noise. It's starting to get busy. It's still quite quiet, so it's probably getting very loud. So hopefully you'll still be able to hear us. But timing-wise, you probably couldn't have picked a better time. The news at the moment in the finance sector, especially in the UK, has gone crazy about AI. We obviously do a podcast every week, and literally every topic at the moment is about AI and its impact in the finance space. So have you kind of come into this going, well, we lucked out to some extent, with the timing of when this is happening?
Oh no, we sense check it a little bit. It wasn't a complete fluke, and you just feel it. You just feel, like you say, it's all in the news. People are talking about it. Look, and I think it goes without saying, we all know that AI is probably the biggest technological transformational shift the world has ever seen.
Yeah.
We all know that. So it just felt like the right time to put something on. We see ourselves right at the cutting edge, right at the forefront of delivering information and insights from a technology standpoint to the accountancy and finance professions. So for us, this made complete sense. And yeah, just the room filling out so quickly already is a testament to that, really. So
yeah, I'm excited. I know I'm doing a talk later, but you're obviously going to be on pretty much as this finishes. So we only got you for 15 minutes, so we've got to try and make the most of that. But I guess one of the questions I want to ask is that we've had a lot in the industry for a while, a bit of frustration. We go to these events and it's like, everyone's talking about AI, nothing feels tangible, feels like it's coming but not here yet. Is the purpose of this event to try and actually make it so businesses know what to do and what they can do?
Yeah, so the purpose of today's event is to bring everybody up to speed as to where we are right now from an AI standpoint, where it's going, what people are currently doing, and ultimately the practical tools that you can take away and implement straight back into the practice. So yes, I've been to several events where the AI chat is very high level.
Yep.
And it's kind of like, we know it's coming, but we're not quite doing anything yet. Actually, we're going to hear from some speakers today around what tools specifically accountants can bring into their practice to drive efficiency, create better client and team experiences, and ultimately build a business with AI at the heart of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, really excited. The way in which we're running the event today, we're going to start with a kind of macro perspective.
Yep.
Because again, the world is changing so fast from an AI point of view that we're going to start macro, and as the day goes on, we're going to finish the day on tools that you can actually implement today to make a difference in the business.
Yeah, we're in this flux, right? So it feels still that AI is so new, but what first came out of AI and its kind of impact and what we could do was Copilot. So there's a big focus on Copilots. You can talk to it naturally and get information back. But that seems to now feel old, because now we're in the realm of AI agents, which is actually you can kind of give it instructions and it goes off and does a load of things and comes back with answers. Yeah. So is this show going to kind of cover a bit of both of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to go into AI agents a bit as well. We've got some kind of guest speakers coming down and giving us a bit of insight into that technology and how it can be used. But you're absolutely right, Ryan. Like the speed in which these AI tools are developing, I think AI has been a lot of softwares that we use for a long time. Then the launch of ChatGPT comes around, they get to 100 million users in 2 months, large language models and that sort of stuff. And really what we're trying to do today is just educate people on all these different perspectives and different types of AI, and ultimately how they can use them.
Yeah,
that's really where we want to go with it.
And it's a very good point. Actually, AI has been around for a lot longer than ChatGPT. We feel when we talk now that when we say AI, we kind of mean large language models or what that brought to the fore and what we can do with it.
Yeah.
But no, AI to some extent has been overlapping with automation inside systems for quite a long time. The bit that I have found with accounting firms is that a lot of them are like, yeah, I get the buzz. I definitely know I need to be doing something with AI, but I have no idea what to do. And they just want to come to someone and go, tell me what to do with AI. And my viewpoint is that that's probably the wrong question. The way AI works and the way you utilize that, you should be going, where's my pain points in what I'm doing inside the business, and how can I utilize AI to resolve that? Is that something you'll be covering here?
Yeah, I think there's probably a layer above that in that you've just got to, we as accountants, we're so busy kind of head down, doing the work, managing the team, got deadlines to meet, got VAT returns, got corporation tax, personal tax. You're constantly having to hit deadlines, and the world of an accountant is so busy and manic, and they're trying to run a business that sometimes it's really difficult to come up for air, work on the business, not in it. See what's going on from an AI perspective, look at resources online, videos online, what's going on, people to speak to, come to it's hard.
Yes.
So actually there's a piece where we've just got to begin to educate either ourselves first as the business owners or somebody within the team.
Yeah.
So somebody has to take ownership of it. Then we have to build, look, this is going to impact everyone, right? So then we have to build some sort of policy or strategy. Like, what's our approach with this moving forward? How are we staying abreast of all the new developments and new innovations? Who's looking at what ChatGPT are doing on Microsoft or Copilot? We thought it was pretty transformational when Sage and the other kind of cloud bookkeeping tools came along. Everyone was kind of having to keep up to speed with all the updates all of a sudden and doing product updates, that sort of stuff. This is going to be on another level to that. Like the speed in which these companies are rolling out developments and innovations and new features, and it's mental. It's absolutely mental. So just one thing before I forget, it popped into my mind. There was a video on YouTube that I watched a couple of years ago that really kind of opened up my eyes into where this is all going. And I've heard about AI, and I've not really spent much time in it. And AI's been around for years, whatever. But then this video online, it's a film, and it was. Oops, sorry, just rocked the
earthquake.
And it really just made me sit up straight and go, "Wow, this is where it's going." And the film was made. I think it was DeepMind, which Google later acquired, and the film was called AlphaGo. And if you've not watched that, next time you're on a train or you fancy watching something in the evening, it's on YouTube. Watch that film. It's for about an hour and a half, and that will completely open up your mind, smack you square in the face, and go, "This is where it's all going. This stuff is going to begin to learn. It's going to begin to do things." And from an accountancy perspective and delivering services to clients, I think it's really, really exciting.
Well, I guess there's nothing that people take away from this apart from the fact they shouldn't watch iRobot and Artificial Intelligence. It's AlphaGo.
Terminator.
Yeah, exactly. Terminator.
Yeah.
We know now the film we should be watching.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's lots of like key focus points. What's going to be covered in the show? What are some of the key topics? Give us a bit of a sneak peek.
Yeah. So, like I mentioned earlier, the view for today for us when we're putting this event together with the content was, right, let's start macro level. Let's give everybody a view into what's going on, where the money's going, the companies that exist, who's coming out with all the new developments. And then as we go down, we're speaking to accountants who are using AI and what their kind of views are and how they're deploying and running the AI strategy within the business. And then we're going to kind of narrow it right down into the world of an accountant and the tools that you can deploy within your business today. So we've got Billy Mack, and we've got Billy McLaughlin, who's going to be kind of delivering a couple of talks actually for us today on the macro point of view and the tools within the practice that you can deploy today. We've got a couple of really fantastic panels on how accountants are using it. We've got the guys from Sage trying to give us their insight into They've got a huge, obviously Sage Copilot is massive for them and where they see the future of their products. So we're going to be hearing from them as well. So, and we're going to be hearing from some other technology businesses about how they're kind of rolling out agents and working with accountants and bookkeepers in helping them roll out their strategies as well. So
yeah, I think as a minimum, right, as you said earlier, every firm should have an AI policy in place. That's an absolute baseline now, because so many of your team will probably be interacting with AI tools to some extent, even if you don't know that, on your devices. So that's an absolute minimum. You need that in place. But yeah, there's so much that you can do yourself or adopt tools that can help you to kind of take the next step forward with using AI. Getting that balance right is going to be a challenge, and I think I'm going to learn quite a bit today from being here on actually how that balance should work. But I know that you're a very busy man. You've actually got to go and launch the show. So the last question I've got for you is, for those that can't be here, how can they still get the insights from what we talked about today?
Yep. So in the true fashion of AI, thanks to Jordan and the team at Vinyl, we're recording all the audio from today's sessions, and we're going to use Vinyl, the AI product for accountants, and we're going to turn it into the note-taking and the notes from each session and each talk, and we're going to deliver those to everyone early next week. So if anybody would like a copy of the notes from today's talks, thanks to Vinyl, we are going to roll them out next week. So get in touch with either Ryan or put a note in here or a message or a comment, and we'll make sure we get those out to you.
Great. Look, thanks so much, Dan, for coming on.
Thanks, Ryan.
Go launch the show, and I'll be joining you in a few minutes.
Top man. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, everyone. See you soon.
Now, obviously, we run half an hour, and Sage are sponsoring. They're the main partner of this. So we managed to rope in Jack Ryan. Here he is from Sage. Jack, what is your role?
Hello, everybody. I'm a field success manager at Sage. So my job support accountants, mainly in the south. Digitise the practice, improve efficiencies, and make sure they're as streamlined as can be as a business to be as successful as they can be.
Yeah, and I think what we're finding with Sage now, especially what we're talking about on the infrastructure, is you have, as a business, put yourself at the forefront of AI, especially in the UK. We've had, I guess, some of your competitors in the space that are either not doing much or being very quiet about it, and some that are focusing very much on the US and only really starting to come over to the UK. But your tool, so far, from our perception, seems to have the best traction. I think when I last looked at it, you had about 40,000 people using Sage Copilot in some context to help them. And I know that your tool goes across not just the ledger, but you built that into the accounting practice management space that you cover. So there's a vast array of what's going on. But very much traditionally, it's been Copilot based. Are you doing stuff with the kind of modern world of AI agents as well?
Absolutely. I think it's really important to first of all note, right, you touched on an amazing point there. Sage ultimately is a UK business, and we don't forget our roots. And I think it's really important in this space of accountants, which is our sweet spot as well, that we service you guys, especially in the UK market, with as much support as we want. Now, you talked about agents and working in that sort of realm. We've had generative AI, but now it's really important to have that purpose-built AI. So what we're focusing on with our Copilot products and other products that we're bringing out in the AI realm is really serving a purpose. The three areas at the moment that we're really touching on specifically is insights, so you get a good idea of what businesses are doing, what they need support with, and what you can do to help them. Automation, so improving and making more efficient them workflows without having to have that human touch on the computer, because obviously we can help save you time in areas that you don't need to be working on, and also practice management, so you get a wider perspective of what's going on in your practice and what's going on with your customers.
Yeah, I think the fourth one, which I think just goes without saying, right, is trust.
Of course.
So explaining what or how the AI has done what it's done, presenting that, and I know that there's been a lot of articles, from Sage over the last few weeks. So as that's their kind of core principle, we want to make sure that accountants trust it, because there's a lot of skepticism about AI out there. Like, where's my data going to be? Is it going to be released into the wild? Is it just going to be focused on me? Am I training other firms to be better? There's lots of skepticism. So trust is the core focus, and presenting that and doing it carefully. So only rolling this stuff out when it's ready. And is that kind of your mantra at Sage?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Copilot's been around for quite a while now. We're starting to shout more about it, as you're probably seeing in the industry. But we've had it in closed beta for a while. We've had obviously early adopters. So we've been testing this for quite a while. And obviously, as we widen the testing pool, the results get even better. But the idea is we're doing it carefully, we're doing it strategically, and we're doing it to make sure that when it goes to market properly, which we're getting to right now, getting people to test it and to use it more widely, that people find it successful from day one instead of waiting for what's in the pipeline.
Okay, cool. So you say about the fact it's in beta, but I've seen so many people using it. So is there elements that are already out to the wider public yet, or is it?
So you can sign up now. So
okay.
For example, today we have a high intent form where we can get you signed up. So we roll out to people today at the actual event to get them onto Copilot. If anyone watching is interested in getting onto Copilot, I'd say get in touch on the website. We have forms where you could obviously get through to us. We'll guide you on how to add that onto your Sage system. You can though just sign up on Sage, but previously we had to obviously do a closed pool just because we wanted to make sure we got it right. But yeah, reach out to your account manager, go on the Sage website, and we'll get you on the Sage Copilot and using it.
Cool. And so another topic I wanted to bring up is that relatively recently there's been an announcement that you're bringing some AI agents into Sage Intacct.
Yes.
What's the plan with kind of the roll down or bringing that down to the Sage accounting package? Is that a slower burn or?
No, not really. I think at the moment we've actually been really focused on, I'd say, actually more probably the Sage accounting area, because today we're going to be showcasing some stuff that we've got in Copilot about how we're actually using Copilot to, I think, go back in your word, to trust the data more, to feel more confident with the information delivery. We want to make sure that when people are using the Sage accounting tool, that they feel that they're using Copilot to benefit them instead of it being like something to replace them. Yeah. I think there was a bit of concern. I was at the ICB summit, I'd say like a year and a half ago, and when AI was starting to get talked about, there was a bit of concern in the room, like, is this going to take away my role? Not the case at all. The idea behind Copilot is a supporting tool. I think bookkeepers and accountants using it at the Sage accounting level, so obviously kind of Sage for accountants and things like that, they're probably going to get the most use out of it. Because actually, for the small businesses, the people who are trying to grow and scale, well, it's going to be their bread and butter. Because actually, the insights they'll get, it will mean that they won't require maybe that manpower that they might have to bring into the business. Yeah. That will be costly for them.
Okay, so we were talking a bit earlier before we went live about where some of the focus is for Sage. And we talked a bit about the fact of being the kind of Sage for accountants practice management. So what kind of things are you seeing or is Sage planning to do with either Copilot or AI agents in the practice management side?
Yeah, of course, Ryan. So at the moment we've got clear insights, just so that's what we've got right now. So the idea is get dedicated insights into business. So might be when VAT dates are due, might be kind of a trend, a bit of information on what the trends look like there, for the revenues, is it going up, is it going down, and then just highlighting maybe debtors as well, so you can keep on top of that. In the future, for a really specific practice management point of view, what we're looking to do is automate tasks. So actually, we're going to predict tasks that you need to do. So Copilot will go, we believe for this client, because it's a sole trader, these are the steps you need to take.
Okay.
Step 1, sign them up for making tax digital. Step 2, get them trained on the software. Step 3, decide what your quota is going to be on MTD. Is it going to be the cumulative or the standard? Step 4, invite the client in. Step 5, start to work. And then you get your next phase, which is for each quarter, reminding you, okay, when do I start the work? When do I submit the work? Do I press a request button from the client to agree it and formalise the work, so we feel confident moving forward that when we submit, it's the right data. So that's how we're going to.
That's cool, because I know that like you've already built products into the Sage suite that help with the VAT return process. Pick up anomalies, flagging things that are relevant for the process.
Exactly.
So essentially, what you're going to do in the practice management suite is take elements like that, bring them into tasks, which make you go, okay, now you've got to your VAT return. You've got kind of this data that might be a little bit messy or might need a bit of review. These are your focus points, so that you can kind of do that across all your clients in one central space.
Exactly, yeah. And you can bulk manage as well, so you can have that bulk overview instead of it being just single on one client. You can see where all your clients sit, and also back to my kind of original point about scalability of a practice, you can then dedicate work out to people in the actual practice, say, okay, this belongs to this staff member, this belongs to this department. So again, it's going back into that element of you've got complete control over your client base and oversight of what we do. And longer term, we've got Go Proposal integrated, of course, in Sage Accounting, things like Futurely, Auto Entry. These 3 tools as well are going to be part of that journey as well. Go Proposal especially prompting you to send out a letter of engagement or send out a new letter of proposal because your work might have changed in the app. Things like this. Basically, there's unlimited possibilities of what we can do with this, but this is where we're getting started with.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna talk about a competitor as a reference.
No problem at all.
So a big part we had on the news and the podcast recently is that Intuit have announced these AI agents. There's 4 of them. One's an accounting agent. It's all about trying to automate or speed up period close. One is like a cash flow agent, so it's looking at your debtors, your creditors, and looking at where your bank is and trying to go, well, you should pay these later or chase these debts. One is like a financing one, looking at the forecast element and trying to bring that in. But I went on a product update with Intuit recently, and of all of this big announcement, the only thing they said, well, is kind of in development at the moment, is helping with bank allocations. I'm like, oh, that's very disappointing because then you made this big announcement. So what's Sage take on this? Are you only going to start making announcements when things are more tangible? Like when you go, okay, now we've got something which can do like an accounting side, but we're only going to do it when there's actually it's going to make an impact. Because I'm worried about the hype that's out there. I'm worried about the fact that everyone's going, oh yeah, we can do this, but actually it's potentially so far down the line that there's nothing we can really do. Considering where you are and how you've done your announcement so far regarding Copilot, is that your plan with the agents to do only to talk about it when there's actually something we can use?
And this is where I pretend to get in trouble, so I'll be really careful. So we got a roadmap, Ryan.
Yep.
It's a very clear roadmap. But we've not just made a roadmap for fun. What we've done is we've taken into account different businesses and backgrounds, had chats with them and what we think is important to them. And we've functioned that into our roadmap. In terms of what you can use now and what the future looks like, we're rolling stuff out constantly. So it's not going to be like this approach where, okay, this new thing that obviously we've got, we're going to hold on it, we're going to sit on it until like a year's time. When we've got stuff that's ready tested, we're going to add that as a functionality feature. So the idea that you will see in the next 6 months to a year is Copilot's going to constantly get better. It's not going to be like, but also the functionality we're adding, we go, okay, right, this is ready to go, add that to the offering. This is ready to go, add that to the offering. And ultimately, at the moment, I think it's interesting how QuickBooks and other competitors are defining certain things. We're branding it specifically as Copilot, especially for the accountants. So we're saying that's Copilot, and it covers.
Got it. So So what the traditional LLMs were for the that communicative area, what was I guess people call Copilots, the AI agents element just becomes part of your Copilot offering. Okay, that makes sense then. Probably why I'm seeing less separate announcements.
Yeah, I think the maybe at some point might be a wider, okay, this is Sage AI, could we have a lot of Sage AI, but at the moment, especially with accounting and Sage for accountants, that's Copilot. It's Copilot's that thing supporting you and driving that support. But it's really important to know that in your accounting products today, you might see, Ryan, that these insights, things like the automatic reports, things like the automation, we can do that now. And we can ask you questions to support us right now. So things that I think people are starting to bring in now, we've tried and tested it for 6 months a year, and we're ready to launch the market. So
And I think the other benefit that you've got is, if you go back 5 years, you went on an acquisition strategy where you bought elements that you now kind of integrated together. Pretty much the perfect timing to overlay AI over it. It's the same way when I'm talking to accounting firms that they need to start getting their data in a good structure to be AI ready. You guys possibly, without even realising it, planned that.
Well, to be fair, not to kind of give us too much credit, but actually there was a strategy. We've always had the strapline from proposals to advisory. We've got you covered, and that's what we've always led into with the customer market. I think AI coming in and being so frequent is a bit of a benefit because actually all these things can tie in closer together and you get better oversight. Because what we want to give people is that oversight, that experience, and basically empowers them to make informed decisions with reduced effort.
Okay, look, normally we run on to about 9:30, but
So it's such a pull schedule. I've not been to an event. I've been to a few events in this place. This is one of the buzziest events. The Sage Roadshow is buzzy, and this is very buzzy too. So very exciting.
So you can't see what we can see, but we will be overloaded with people in a minute. So I think this is a perfect time to bring this to a close. As we said, and Dan said earlier, if you want to catch any of the discussions, please do put a comment in here. We'll make sure the recordings get out to you. Obviously, if you want to hear a bit more about what Sage are doing, especially on the AI front, please reach out to Jack. You can add him on LinkedIn. I'm sure he'll be happy to have a chat.
No problem at all.
And so thank you so much, Jack.
Great to meet you, Ryan. Thank you.
If you want to make sure you catch any of what we talk about on the digital disruptors regarding AI, which seems to be the only thing that's in the news at the moment for accountants, make sure you sign up to Digital Disruptors, follow the podcast, and catch the live show every Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Thank you for tuning in. If you've got any other questions, please ping them in the comments. We'll make sure we get back to you with tangible answers. Thanks again.